Do 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 do. Hello and welcome to Zero's Quick and Dirty Expanse Recap Part 1. Hope you like that personal rendition of my Expanse opening. It's the only one that didn't get copyright claimed, so suck it, Megacore. So fair warning in this video, there's some strong language, some gallows humor, some sarcasm, and a lot of spoilers. So if you haven't seen this show, too late. Daddy needs some sweet watch time to slide in on that algorithm. So don't bugger off until you smash that like and subscribe button and click that notification bell so you get more gameplay, more reviews, more playthroughs, and more me. So here's part 1 of my quick recap of The Expanse before Season 5 drops in 12 days. So, Season 1 opens with Julie Mao in a spacesuit aboard a spaceship. No big deal. Comes out and sees some crazy blue shit eating people. What the hell? She's the pivotal character of the series, yet somehow only seems to show up in flashbacks or in corpse form. So there we go. On the Dwarf Planet series in the asteroid belt, the Punisher is assigned to find Little Miss Spacesuit seeing in the spaceship and return her to her rich parents on Luna because apparently she's got daddy issues. Fair enough. In New York, the place is still a shithole, and the UN executives are all there. Fantastic. Great. So they're interrogating an alleged terrorist there. Surprise, surprise, the Patriot Act is apparently still in effect, and they've just moved Guantanamo Bay to underneath the Statue of Liberty. So on its way to Ceres, the Ice Hauler Canterbury, which you'll hear quite a bit through the series, and it actually means something, receives a distress call from the fighter Scopuli, which really, you'll hear it a few times through the series, and it doesn't mean anything, so you can ignore that name more or less. And the acting executive officer, Jim Holden, is ordered to stop effing his subordinates just long enough to do his job. So with the ship's engineer, Naomi, the mechanic Amos, the pilot Amos, the medic, the guy who's that guy from American Pie that nobody seems to remember his name, they all hop onto a rust bucket shuttle, head over to this ship that's obviously a trap. And, well, oddly enough, it is in fact a trap. So, cue a cliche call from the fuck buddy that gets cut off, and apparently the only water ship in the whole solar system gets sniped with a nuke. You'll see that a lot again in the series. Ships getting sniped with nukes. On Ceres, Miller investigates some water theft, because apparently he's on Arrakis, and that's a big thing in the belt. He also finds an alleged plot to move the story forward a little bit. Around the girl. The rusty shuttle is damaged by debris from Ice Hauler's destruction, and using the last bit of air, the survivors, along with apparently Space MacGyver, improvise an antenna to place a distress call, which is responded to by a giant Martian Donager. So after the female MacGyver identifies that the transponder that led them into the trap is Martian, Holden decides to broadcast a message that makes him YouTube famous across the system. Good job, Holden. So his viral tweet triggers protests on Ceres and the OPA, which is basically the Belt's version of an illegitimate government, but a legitimate government ruled by gangs. It's long and complicated. See my video on the politics of the Expanse, the OPA, to figure out how they work. So the OPA blames Mars for the destruction of the Canterbury, like it's the only ice barge in the whole damn system. Why aren't there more of them? In the course of the violent riots, or mostly peaceful protests, Miller's partner, Detective Unimportant, stops trying to marry his strippers long enough just to get himself stapled to a wall through the heart with a big metal spike. Aboard the Martian warship Giant Red Dick, the Canterbury survivors are all detained and questioned, I'm sure within complete compliance of the Geneva Convention in space. Nagata in particular, who happens to be a bit of a space MacGyver, seems to be like their prime suspect into all of this, or who they want to pin the blame on anyway. Complicating matters further, a ship appears. Ooh, mystery. In the belt, the Donager's pursuers revealed themselves as not just one ship, but 6 ships flying in close formation that had attacked the Canterbury. They opened fire on the Donager, overconfident and caught in the middle of playing with their dicks out. The Donnie gets more holes punched in it than the plot canon of another bad Star Trek series. And that actor I told you wouldn't care about gets his head blown off. Quite literally. So in fact, he's so unimportant, I'm not even going to bother showing his picture again, so screw him. As the MCRN Useless is being boarded by the mystery ships, the surviving main characters basically make their way for their set piece for the rest of the series. Right before the MCRN Dumbass, or Donager, self-destructs to avoid capture, basically this crew manages to escape in their new ship. And basically at the station Tycho, a big, massive, well-rounded, I guess you could say a ship, the Nauvoo, is being built at the behest of future space Mormons. The station's boss, Fred Big Dick Energy Johnson, who's tied to the OPA, turns the Space Utah sensors towards the battle. I'm just going to call the Nauvoo the Space Utah, because that's where all the Mormons live. For lack of options, the Canterbury survivors accept a proposal by Fred Johnson to join him at Tycho Station. And with his help, they modify the ship's transponder, and after a quick back and forth where they decide not to name the ship after something that immediately broadcast themselves as a gunship, Flying Alamo or Raging Thunder Horse or some crazy shit, whatever the hell Alex was talking about. You get some filler flashbacks, and on series, the Punisher finds the alleged plot points and then gets jumped and interrogated and tortured by Professor Moriarty. Miller escapes with his fellow officer, who's obviously also got daddy issues and seems to have a thing for broken men, Octavia. They discover some revealing information, a major secret. Miller gets fired. Holden decides he's going to make an uneasy alliance with Fred Johnson. And they're going to try to figure out what the hell's going on and where their missing operatives are and who's trying to start a war in the belt. So, they decide to disguise the ship as a gas hauler and carry on to the next episode, where we see Holden's home. We get some exposition. The other ship is on its way to Eros. And the Ross realize that the worst spy in all of the solar system is aboard their ship, and has somehow managed to get the attention of a Martian patrol. Good job! How does this ship that apparently knows how to do everything get boarded? Good job. So, they try to find the code book, and with a few code words and some serious donkey balls, the patrol backs off, believing them to be Martian secret squirrels. They find their mission target dead in a seedy hotel shower. TMZ was seen covering it. You know, how they love dead celebrities and dead rich girls. We get more flashbacks, filler, and exposition. Under the guise of a ship explosion and a radiation leak, the bad guys and the evil doctors place Eros in lockdown and basically infect all the poverty-stricken citizens into radiation shelters and infect them with something nasty. Miller and Holden try to investigate what's going on at the shelters. Once they figure out what's going on, they get blasted with radiation and get ultra cancer. So, they have to find their way back to the Rocinante, try and get themselves saved. They jack themselves up full of drugs, start hallucinating, some shit goes crazy, and they figure out that the people who have all those stealth ships that are blowing everything up are the ones all infecting these people as well. So, Season 2 starts. We've got a mixed bag of effery with this season. First thing we've got is Space Marines, bullshit politics, MCRN vessels firing on vessels and destroying space stations instead. Jesus Christ. The first couple of episodes of this are all over the place. Holden and Miller are still recovering from cancer. Miller gets his ass whooped by Amos. Alex cooks lasagna for the whole crew at the end of the episode for some reason, because the Parmesan cheese is probably space ambient and it calms everyone the hell down, makes them all smile. It's weird. We meet a new character, the traitor from Spartacus. The Rocinante's crew finally arrives back on Tycho Station. You know, and they explain what's going on at Eros. Fred Johnson freaks the fuck out, decides to put together a strike team. All the best belters, all the gangs, who whips out his big dick, throws one of the leaders out an airlock, and tells them to send 50 of their best. They pack them into a couple of crates, and you'll see what happens next, really. They decide to use the Rossi as a gunship, which for once is what the damn thing's actual intended purpose is. Holy effing arse crackers, the writers actually remembered that and got it right for once. Good for them! So, they go and assault Toth Station, where they find out all this is happening. And you'll be happy to know that even in the future, FedEx will just still chuck your damn package at the door from halfway across the street and hope for the best. The station's not prepared to defend itself, aside from one freaking mass driver. And, the Rossi goes in and, after some real fancy footwork, manages to ice one of those freaking stealth ships. Good on Alex. Real tense moment, but cuts his teeth real good. They board the ship, and we are a witness to one of the most one-sided fistfights this entire season. Aside from when Amos kicked the crap out of Miller like it didn't even matter. They captured the lead scientist on the project, Dresden, and an underling Cortazar, and a whole host of space autists, which they immediately freaking executed because someone got itchy trigger fingers. And the evil doc just wants to work immediately, but he's domed by the Punisher and his big iron. Good on him. And here's where everything this season goes from crazy to crazier. Elon Musk decides to nuke Mars' moon Deimos in response to the MCRN nuking of Phoebe. Everyone's pissed off at Miller, but Miller investigations show he 100% does not give a fuck. And says, we gotta nuke Eros. They love nuking things in this series. Seriously. So, Johnson and Holden reach the same conclusion. Amos figures out what's going on by figuring out how to talk to the crazy space autist Cortazar. And they decide they're gonna toss a church at it. So the space Mormons are surprised the alleged terrorists stole their ship to knock Eros into the sun. After flying to Eros, Rocinante throws a whole lot of belters with nukes at it. They decide to shoot down a ship filled with Doctors Without Borders. One of the nukes gets severely damaged, and what basically messes up Plan A. Not that Plan A was going to work anyway, or any of the plans regarding this rock, because shit's about to get even crazier. We're talking ancient aliens crazier. Base Utah, which they're whipping at the ship, there completely misses. Not because the ship was diverted, but because Eros decides it's going to move with like it has no inertia. Which basically means it moves like it's got cheat codes. Eros is speeding on a collision course towards Earth. Everyone with a recurring role in this series is tossing their nukes at this thing, with the exception of Mars. They're waiting to see what happens next. So, this proceeds to completely fuck up everyone's plan because this thing was carrying level 100 plot armor. Miller arrives at the heart of the Eros with the nukes and finds out that he's on alien LSD, starts making out with the blue chick who's got this rock plugged into the back of her head, and makes the rock crash into Venus. Kaboom. Mars and Earth finally decide to start throwing down. Space Marines get waxed by a new plot point, a hybrid. After the Ganymede battle, the main Space Marine is rescued and told what to remember by her superiors in a typical military fashion. What else is new? You will remember it happened this way, there, soldier. So, the main Space Marine, Bobby, is ordered back to Earth in a peace summit to tell Earth that Mars fired first accidentally. Bobby remembers completely different and proceeds to say so. Dawes becomes aware of Cortazar's presence on Tycho, proceeds to stage a kidnapping and grab him. Bobby decides to escape for a while because this sucks, and she sees the ocean and why the UN's version of socialism completely sucks as well. On Ganymede, Amos beats the information dealer trying to find Prax's daughter with a can of chicken for footage of Dr. Mengele taking May to the oldest part of Ganymede Station. That's Prax's kid. Bobby decides to beat up her chaplain and then defects promptly to the UN. Mao offers to explain everything to the UN if she meets with them outside their control, so he can try to, negotiate the best deal he can. Frickin' UN science ship is in a head-for-head with the Martian science ship, trying to figure out what's going down on Venus. The probe decides that it sees a proto-molecule structure, and they decide they're going to go in after it because that worked out so well with Eros. Holy crap. And here's where things finally kick off. So, Aaron Wright assassinates the Martian minister, confesses his whole damn plan to frickin' Avasarala, and Mao tells Mao basically to kill Avasarala. Superstar gets shot. Proto-molecule monster inside the Rocinante. They defeat it with plot armor and a nuke and a barbecue. And the science ship, the Arbogast, basically gets blown or taken apart by the proto-molecule where it learns how to make a ship. And that is how we are going to end part 1 for this, the quick and dirty. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you stuck around to the bitter end, smash that like button, smash subscribe. Part 2 is going to be up in about 2, maybe by the end of this week. And right after the upload of the latest Dank Tank podcast. If you guys like hearing vets ramble on about crazy shit in their fantastic way, then you're going to want to check that out as well. With that, guys, hope you enjoyed this video.